My calendar was bursting at the seams, and my house was overflowing. But my life, it just felt empty and complicated, but never actually getting anywhere that felt meaningful. For the longest time, I thought the answer was to add more, but I was so wrong. The real change came when I stopped adding and started taking things away. So today, I'm sharing the 6 key things I cut out of my life to simplify everything and really embrace a slower way of living. And honestly, it changed everything. 1. Holding on to physical clutter. The first thing that had to go was the stuff, all the stuff. My home had pretty much become a physical reflection of my mental state, chaotic and overwhelming. I remember just staring at my closet, so full I could barely close the door, but still feeling like I had absolutely nothing to wear. It was the perfect metaphor for my life, crammed with options, but none of them felt right. The turning point came when I realized I couldn't keep going like this. I knew I had to start small, so I began with just one drawer. For things I felt emotionally attached to but never used, I tried an experiment. I boxed them up and hid them away for 30 days. If I didn't miss them or even think about them, I knew it was time to let go. Another idea is to adopt the one in, one out rule, as it really changes the way you keep things organized, helping to prevent excess from piling up again. As I started peeling back the layers of excess, something amazing happened. It wasn't just my house that cleared up. My mind did too. Getting rid of the clutter cut down my housework and freed up so much mental energy. My drawers and living spaces became more organized, giving me easy access to the things I truly needed. Walking into a calm, organized room gave me a sense of peace I didn't know I was missing. It proved to me that our environment has a huge impact on our well-being, and simplifying my surroundings was the first real step towards simplifying my entire life. 2. Saying yes to everything. With a clearer home, I started to see another kind of clutter, my calendar. It was jam-packed with commitments and events that just drained my energy, leaving me zero time for myself. I was a classic people pleaser, and my schedule was a perfect map of everyone else's priorities. The fear of missing out and the fear of letting people down meant I said yes to pretty much everything. I realized that every time I said yes to something I didn't really want to do, I was saying no to the things that mattered to me, like rest, creativity, or just quiet time with the people I love most. Learning to say no is one of the most powerful skills I've ever learned. It was terrifying at first. I felt guilty and so selfish, but I learned that setting boundaries is a form of self-respect. I started small, declining a casual invite with a simple, "Thanks so much for thinking of me, but I can't make it." No long excuse needed. And to my surprise, people were fine with it. The world didn't end. By subtracting the obligations I felt I should do, I created so much more time and energy for the things I truly wanted to do. My life instantly felt more joyful, and way less stressful. 3. The myth of multitasking. Our culture loves to wear busy as a badge of honor, and multitasking is sold as the secret to getting it all done. However, I discovered that multitasking didn't make me efficient. It only scattered my focus, leaving me more stressed and less productive. Trying to do everything at once made me feel increasingly anxious, as if there was always one more task or something I couldn't keep up with. The truth is, I had to accept that I'm not a machine, and my brain can't process so many things at once. That's when I realized I needed to embrace a slower pace in life. To live with more ease, it's important to simplify and break tasks into smaller steps. Start your day with the simpler tasks. By completing one, you'll feel a small win, which gives you the motivation to keep going. Doing one thing at a time not only helps you stay focused, but also gives you a real sense of progress. When you organize your day this way, the weight of the tasks feels lighter, and the feeling of accomplishment grows. 4. Impulsive shopping. For years, shopping was my go-to coping mechanism. Had a bad day? A new shirt would fix it. Bored on a Tuesday night? A little scroll through an online store would give me that quick dopamine hit. This habit didn't just add to the clutter in my house. It created a ton of financial stress. That brief high from a new purchase was always followed by the crash of the credit card bill and the guilt of owning another thing I didn't really need. I knew I had to break the cycle. I started by getting rid of the temptation. I unsubscribed from all those marketing emails, deleted shopping apps from my phone, and removed my saved credit card info from websites to make it just a little harder to buy on impulse. I also gave myself a 30-day waiting period for any non-essential purchase. If I still wanted it after 30 days, I'd consider it. But most of the time, the urge just vanished. That intentional pause forced me to look at the why behind my shopping. I was trying to fill an emotional void. By removing impulsive buying, I had to find healthier ways to deal with my feelings. It was about shifting my whole mindset from mindless consumption to mindful living. I started finding joy in experiences instead of things, and my bank account and my peace of mind definitely thanked me for it. 5. Overthinking and mental clutter. After clearing the clutter from my home and my calendar, I realized there was a sneakier, more stubborn type of clutter I had to deal with. My mind was just a non-stop storm of overthinking and worrying. I'd replay conversations, stress about future what-ifs that would probably never happen, and beat myself up over past mistakes. This constant mental noise was absolutely exhausting and kept me in a state of anxiety. To simplify my life, I had to simplify my mind. The best tool I found for this was just creating space for stillness. I started a simple brain dump journaling practice where I'd pour all my worries and thoughts onto a page each morning. Just the act of getting them out of my head seemed to make them smaller. I also started a small mindfulness practice, just 5 minutes a day, focusing on my breath and gently guiding my thoughts back when they started to wander. These habits helped me learn to observe my thoughts without getting swept away by them. I started to see what was in my control and what wasn't, and I slowly learned to let go of what I couldn't change. The peace I found in a calmer mind was more profound than any external change I had made. It was proof that the art of subtraction works just as well for our inner world as it does for our outer one. 6. The attachment to more. This last subtraction was the hardest, but it was also the most life-changing. It was letting go of the core belief that was fueling all the other clutter, the attachment to the idea of more. More success, more approval, more stuff, more productivity. We're constantly told that we need more to be happy, that we're not quite whole as we are. This constant striving kept me on a hamster wheel of dissatisfaction. Every time I reached a goal, the satisfaction was gone in a flash, and my eyes were already on the next prize. Letting go of more meant shifting my mindset from constant accumulation to contentment. I began to define success on my own terms, without relying on an external checklist. I stopped focusing on what else I could gain and started asking myself, what is truly enough for a good life? This meant learning to embrace who I am and what I have right now, instead of always chasing some perfect future version of myself. It meant making sure my daily actions actually aligned with my deepest values, like connection, creativity, and peace. When I finally let go of that relentless pursuit of more, I found something so much better, a deep sense of fulfillment in the life I was already living. In the end, it's funny to think that removing things from my life didn't create a void, but a space where I could actually breathe. My journey started with a house full of stuff, a cluttered calendar, and a racing mind. But now, I live with more intention, clarity, and a renewed sense of purpose. And that brings me to my question for you. What is one thing you've removed or want to remove to simplify your life? Let me know in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. Together, we can create a circle of encouragement to live with more ease.